But that lucky old sun ain't got nothing to do but roll around heaven all day. Fuss with my woman, toil for my kids, work till I'm old and I'm gray. But that lucky old sun ain't got nothing to do but roll around heaven all day. Dear Lord up above, can't you see I'm crying? Tears are in my eyes. Send down a cloud with a silver lining. Take me to paradise. Show me that river, lead me across, and take all my troubles away, while that lucky old sun ain't got nothing to do but roll around heaven all day. Dear Lord up above, can't you see I'm crying? Tears are in my eyes. Send down a cloud with a silver lining. Take me to paradise. Up in the morning, out on the job, works like the devil for my pay, while that lucky old sun ain't got nothing to do but roll around heaven all day. Well, there we have it. While you're out working hard, trying to make a living for you and your family, the sun and the moon, they just roll around heaven, along with the stars and a few other things. Well, why would I sing that song, you might ask? Well, today, while you're out working for your living, you work until you're old and you're gray, your supper can be cooking at home in the crock pot. If you don't have a crock pot or slow cooker, whichever you prefer to call it, I would encourage you to invest in one. They're a great way to fix a meal. They can take a tough cut of meat and tenderize it like you wouldn't believe. So today we're going to make Zingy ginger beef tips. And what will you need? Well, let's get right to that. So what you're going to need is your crock pot. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spray it. You can use Pam or whatever you do. As I've mentioned before, I use my misto with canola oil in it. And then you want 2 pounds of cut up stew beef, and you want big bits, big chunks. This is, or beef tips, whichever you prefer, but if you're a poor person, you go with stew beef, and I guarantee you it'll be just as tender can be. Next, you're going to want 1 can of Campbell's creamy mushroom soup, or cream of mushroom soup, whichever you prefer. And if you kind of shake the can on its side like that, you'll find it'll come out easier. Because that shaking on its side lets the air get up to the back. And of course, we don't want any of that good soup to go to waste, so we'll just try and get it all out of there. These little spatulas are another good investment. So once we've got that in, the next thing we're going to want is 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. You can just sprinkle that in. And you're going to want 1 packet of Lipton's or Knorr's onion soup mix. They come in a box of either 2 or 4 envelopes. And other than the ginger, this and the mushroom soup pretty much provide all the spices and flavoring you need. Next, you're going to want ginger ale. Now I'm using Canada Dry, but you can use whatever brand you prefer. And you want 1 1/4 cups. Not counting the foam, of course. Let that die down. Now, if you really want to make it zippy or zingy, you could use ginger beer instead, but we just use ginger ale. You're going to pour that in there. Now you want to kind of mix that around, try and get your mushroom soup in there. Now you're going to have to cook this several times, not cook this, sorry. You're going to want to stir this several times while it's cooking to kind of help break up that mushroom soup a bit more. And then your last ingredient is sliced fresh mushrooms, about 2 cups. I've got a bit more than 2 cups, probably 2 1/2 cups there, but that's okay. And you want to mix those in as well. Just get everything blended nicely together there. Like a good cocktail party, you want the guests to mingle. That way they can all come away from the party improved. A little more knowledgeable, a little more flavorful. In this case, we want the more flavorful. I don't think we care if our beef tips are knowledgeable or not. And that's it. That's all there is to it. We put the lid on that, and we're going to put it over to cook. So now we're going to take that, and we're going to put it to cook. And we're going to put it on low and cook it for 6 to 8 hours. Now, after 6 hours, you can check it and see if your beef is cooked. And if not, just give it another hour or 2 and check it again. But if you're planning to eat, let's say you're planning to eat at 6 o'clock, I'd put it on about 11 in the morning. And that way, I guarantee it'll be done. If you check it at, say, 5 and it's still not done and it's got a ways to go, you can always turn it up to high for the last hour just to make sure it is done. If you check it at 5 and it's cooked, just turn it to warm to keep warm, and it'll be ready to go at 6 o'clock. Now, I'm making this today for a special occasion. My wife has a dear friend. I'm hoping I'm her best friend. I could be wrong, but her other best friend, Lynn, Glennis is known for 46 years. They've been friends for 46 years, and best friends. They've been there for each other through thick and thin, and weddings and all kinds of other things in their lives. And Lynn's birthday is coming up this Sunday, and we are inviting her over. Her husband is a long-haul trucker and is away from home at the moment. And Glennis and Lynn have, for 46 years, always gotten together and celebrated each other's birthdays. And so we've invited Lynn over for supper tonight, and I'm making this for her. And I hope she'll enjoy it. I'll make a little cake for her as well. But happy birthday, Lynn. Many more years to you, and may God bless you. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed today's recipe. I'll put a photograph of the finished product before we serve it at the end of the video here. And I'll also put the recipe printed, or at the end you can take a screenshot of it if you want. But I hope you've enjoyed today's recipe, and we'll give it a try. So when you're up in the morning, out on the job, works like the devil for your pay, while that lucky old sun ain't got nothing to do but roll around heaven all day. So while that's happening, your supper can be cooking and waiting for you when you get home. Alrighty, until Tuesday, when we have Tuesdays with the Pilgrim, our second episode. Take care, stay safe, and God bless.